So, remember the good times of player customization and non-RNG progression, where professions mattered and you felt like you played an RPG. And he's sending a link here, right? You can see of the glyph system, the tier sets that you were able to get, and those are the Old War tier sets. Those were the original talent trees, and those were the epic gems you could buy with your badges. Remember that, Mcconnell?
Yep.
Oh, those were the days, man. WoW needs. Look at this. See, WoW needs to move away. And can you tell me, by the way, whenever the thing's gonna spawn? Because I'm gonna be like tapped out. Okay, good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, all right, nice. Thank you. It's less than that and more about how they're trying to tell the story. Old school WoW was kind of like a hunting safari. It dropped you in the middle of nowhere and it said, the game is over that way. Today, WoW is more like a theme park. Come along, heroes. Follow me down this beautiful trail. Oh no, what's that on our left? Why, it's the Iron Horde. Boy, they sure don't look like someone I'd want to mess with. Wait, oh no, they're readying their siege engines. Watch out, heroes. You better stop them before they power up. Now, the problem with theme park design is that you have to keep arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. That's a really good line.
Yeah, that's why it got gilded.
Holy shit, that's a good line. That is a big line. Wow.
That's a huge line. There's a reason these things
Now
get
the
gilded.
problem with theme park design is that you have to keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times.
Boom.
Holy fuck, dude. The metaphors there, off the charts. In the case of this game, it means that Blizzard has to take a lot of choice away from the player just out of necessity. They need to tell the player where to go, how to get there, and once they arrived, and that requires simplicity and predictability on the point of the design team. The upside of this is that they can tell incredible stories, write beautiful rides, and provide an amazing experience in that regard. This is often called the walled garden, a managed ecosystem. A managed ecosystems need to be small. But let's give them credit where credit is due. I don't think anyone is bitching about how Battle for Azeroth, Legion, or even WoD has been telling the stories. Confusing extremely, entertaining even more so. The downside is that by taking more control over our players, giving us prescribed path to get from A to B, from B to C, is that it gives players less control and less choice. People joke about fun detected, but there's some modicum of truth in that. Blizzard often solves their problems with a machete when all they needed was a scalpel. What's this? Oh, I have all of these. Thank you, DeSanta. I have these. I don't want to take these from somebody that could use them that actually needs them. I have all of these that I could ever fucking need. I actually... Oh, I have a new... This is a new type of content that I had thought of. This is a completely new thing, and I wanted to ask you guys what you think about it. I'll change the song. I will invite 40 players into a raid. I will put them next to a target dummy. All of the same class. All of the same spec. With some of the best gear in the game. And the person that gets the highest DPS after like 2 or 5 minutes, I will give them a pet that's probably worth over 100,000 gold.
Jesus.
Yeah, what do you like it? Because people keep giving me these pets, and this is a way for me to give them away.
I mean, you basically just stole my idea, but yeah, that's a good idea.
What do you mean, your idea?
I gave you that idea like a... No, I gave you that idea a month ago in Discord.
No, you didn't. That's my idea. I made that idea. It's my idea. Thank you, though. I appreciate it. I appreciate the thought. Let me look at the rest of these, okay? Think of how many specs were refantasized to fit the mold of Legion artifacts as an example. That's big. These restrictions have left many specs feeling broken and generic. Doesn't it feel these days like your prot warrior is identical to every other prot warrior on the server? A demo lock is a demo lock is a demo lock. Is also endangered species. Oh, you're a fire mage. Yeah, I know your rotation by heart. How many classes have combo points now? Build up 5 canoodles, then cash them all in on one big awesome spell.
Damn.
There's a lot of canoodles, man. Every class now has canoodles. Oh my god, this is terrible. It didn't always used to be this way. For those that are out of the loop on classic tactics or may have forgotten where they went away, back in the Wrath of Lich King days, talents took us back to peak absurdity. 5% to crit, half of your spirit counts as intellect, 10% chance of your laser blaster to proc laser blaster supreme. Increase the damage of your laser blaster by 5%, stuff like that, but all in a single talent point. They were flipping impossible to balance, and they were confusing for some players. But the open nature of talent trees meant that there was a lot of unpredictable hybrid specs that Blizzard had to manage on the fly. It was a problem. And Cataclysm, they sorted most of these problems out. They simplified talents, got rid of the extra uninteresting garbage, reworked the talent tree so that a player could only make a hybrid spec once they filled out their main tree, and had a good mix of boring stats and interesting skills. By and large, the player base actually seemed pretty okay with the changes. I wasn't, but we'd lost a lot of our hybrid specs, and core specs really shined. And that's another example of them pretty much forcing somebody down a certain path. Lower the music. Let me turn it down by like 10%. There you go. TLDR. Old talents were not as confusing, complicated, or boring as you may have heard. They were predictable and dependable ways of empowering our character of how we saw fit. Want to do a min-max cookie cutter build? Hit up Icy Veins. Want to do a fun situational build that would make a theory crafter throw up in his hat? Play around on the training dummies until you found something that you like. And no, not everyone used cookie cutter builds. The person that tells you that everyone used cookie cutter builds is probably one of the players who only used a cookie cutter build themselves. That's partially true, but anybody that was like really serious is probably using the same stuff. There were always a couple of different options though. When Mists of Pandaria rolled around and Blizzard decided to trash the updated classic talent trees in favor of something more streamlined and simple, Blizzard's explanation was that they didn't like players just simming those powerful talent combinations and picking those. They made the cookie cutter argument. The player base, meanwhile, had been paying attention to Blizzard bitching about how difficult it was balancing talent trees for years. It was my opinion, and the opinion of many others, that Blizzard simplified their talent system for their own benefit to make things easier on them. Now that would be fine if the players didn't lose anything in the process. If the replacement system had been an improvement over the older one, something that I'm still not convinced is the case. Now, let's talk about that. Do you agree with that, Mcconnell, or not?
I agree with the whole post.
Okay.
From start to finish.
In my opinion, I would rather have the old talent system than the new talent system, but I'm still okay with the new talent system. And I think that if anything, they should both exist simultaneously. That's how I feel. In WoD, Blizz doubled down on the simplification scheme, cutting spells away from every class and every spec in the game. This was again done in the name of streamlining and simplification. Many specs were simplified to the point of not being recognizable. My primary experience was with a mage, a class I've been playing since vanilla. Fire Mage has lost access to almost all spells in the Frost and Arcane trees. True. You can't even use Arcane Blast, or Arcane Explosion, yeah. I use this as an example, not because it was taken from my spec was any better or worse than any other spec in the game, but it's just the spec that I know best, that's all. Everybody lost something. Every class lost something. Don't believe me? Here's a list of all of them, okay? It'll be a fun trip down memory lane, I promise. It actually wouldn't be. I'll go down here. The Legion specs were further redefined. Spells further called, other spells redesigned, talents rearranged, and artifacts introduced. Of course, I don't need to tell you what happened to artifacts whenever Legion ended, or where the player base is now. It is my opinion that Blizzard's continued attempts to replace what they've removed is where the game is starting to run into problems. The changes they're making to the game are such a fundamental level that the repercussions can ripple out even into the newest content. The Legion's artifact had to take place of the lost talents and missing spells. Now Azerite has to take the place of lost talents, missing spells, and artifacts. The next expansion pack will have to make something take place of lost talents, missing spells, artifacts, and Azerite. It's a treadmill within a treadmill, and Blizzard has no idea how to get off of it. How many pieces... Jesus Christ. How many pieces can be replaced before it's not the same game anymore? Talents, spells, artifacts, azurite, glyphs, and everything that we players see as a way of remaking our character in our own image have been pried up and replaced only to be pried up again and replaced again. The cycle is unsustainable, no matter how hard they may try to sustain it. Edit, if Asmongold reacts to this, I want to be in the screenshot. Hi, Mom. What's your name? I legitimately did not even see that. I want to say something right now. Maximum effort. That's what you put into this post.
Boom.
And it shows.
Boom.
Thank you so much for making this. It's something that we've needed to hear for a long time. It's something that we've wanted to hear for even longer. Thank you so much. The post is absolutely amazing.
Boys, go. Well, no, you can't tell them to upvote or anything.
No, don't do that.
Like...
Yeah, brigading. I mean, it's already got a bunch of upvotes. Everybody knows it's a great post. We don't need to get any farther. I want to go to the 2 main points that I want to talk about in this post. The 2 biggest points. Now, the problem with theme park design is that you have to keep arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. Now, what he's saying for that, what that metaphor means, is that players are not able to go outside of the predefined situations that Blizzard has created for them, because that would completely mess up the game, because it's a theme park MMO now, right? Like, there's no more sandbox aspects to it. There's less sandbox aspects to it. So, you're having fun the wrong way. If somebody likes farming one thing out, everything has to be completely equal. If there's anything that's a little bit farther ahead, a little bit better, everybody just does that and nothing else happens. And I understand Blizzard's in a weird position with that, but at the same time, they've got to do better than that. They just do. Link to the post, I want to read it later. Sure. Just give me 1 second. It's the first one right here. Yeah, you guys can read the post. And then the second thing that I want to talk about is this one right here. Right here. The changes they're making to the game are at such a fundamental level that the repercussions can ripple out even to the newest content. Legion's artifacts had to take the place of lost talents and mythic spells. Now Azurite has to take the place of lost talents and mythic spells, missing spells, and artifacts. The next expansion pack will have to make something take the place of lost talents, missing spells, artifacts, and Azurite. What he's saying is that they're creating more and more of these systems that you can't even do anything with. Like, that is the problem. And I don't really know, like, what they can do about that or not. Do I have the Brewfest mounts? Yeah, I do. Mythic spells. No, sorry. I have, like, something in my throat, and it's hard for me to talk properly. And that's really why I'm slurring my words and saying everything incorrectly. I do apologize, but there's nothing I can really do about it. It's like mucus, like in my throat. I just can't get rid of it. I've tried a lot of different things, but it just never goes away. Just a second. I'm going to make sure that I read the rest of these. Let's see. Love your new DPS contest idea. Rozzy with the $90. Holy shit. Thank you so much, man. Honestly, Mcconnell makes this stream much better. I agree. Mcconnell's a great guy. Fuck you guys trying to make money off of Asmon content while uploading some YouTube video and putting 50 ads on it. Yo, dude, like, they can do whatever. Like, the way that I see it is, like, that's more content, more advertising for me. Like, how can I complain about that? It seems great. So, I completely agree with everything in this thread. There is one thing that I don't necessarily, I don't necessarily agree with, is that the cookie cutter things and all of that. I'm pretty sure that most people, like, it's a matter of degree, right? Where 90% of your class is completely defined, but the last 10%, you have a huge window and a huge amount of things that you can change. Whereas before, 50% of your class was predefined, and the other 50% of the game you were completely able to change. And I think that's really what the difference is. Read the comment after that one. Okay. I used to be a nobody doing heroic things. Now I'm a hero doing nothing.
This hurts to read, man. Like, this hurts to read. Blizzard, what are you doing?
They're just so out of touch. It's sad. It's actually
it's embarrassing.
Sad. Well, more than embarrassing, it's actually sad. Like the fact that they don't even understand this kind of stuff. Like I really think that they don't understand it. And I don't know if they ever will. That's what's so fucked up about it to me, is that I don't know if they're ever gonna come to a point where they're like, okay, this is, you know, like what we've been doing is wrong and we want to fix it and make it better. Like, do you really think that they're ever gonna come to that point?
Of course not. Not until we get these cuck developers out of that whole company, man. Until they move on to something else. You know, bring in the actual nerds. The people that spend, you know, 20 hours a day actually playing the game, that know what's good and what's not. Get them as a developer, dude. Not these Ivy League, you know, 10+ years of making these shitty games. Oh, I've got experience. No, you don't. No, you don't. You make garbage. We're talking about WoW. We're talking about WoW.